Fox News alert, storm clouds gathering above a health care town hall in the Show Me state. Live look here on the campus of Southeast Missouri State University. Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill is gearing up for a public forum in her home state. We're just losing the feed. Trust me, it's happening. She says she hopes the public will show her some courtesy, but like many in Congress, she could face some angry voters inside, awaiting Town Hall, which some are calling Town Hell, here in a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. Hello, everybody. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Claire McCaskill was on our program on Friday. She's going to hold between 10 and 15, she thinks, over the next couple of weeks in her home state of Missouri, this being one of them. Meanwhile, the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, saying in an editorial today in USA Today that those people at these meetings are un-American. Don't tell that to those who are turned out in big numbers at these meetings, confronting their elected officials on plans for overhauling the Medicare system.
But first, right now, we are getting some breaking news reacting to Speaker Pelosi's editorial in USA Today. Indiana Congressman Mike Pence is on his way to his own town hall. He's a Republican. He joins us now by phone. Congressman, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Megan. Good to be with you from Indiana.
Thank you. He's literally pulled over. This is how important he's treating this issue on his way to his own town hall to speak to us about this, because the House Speaker and the House Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, are not sparing any words, not mincing words here, Congressman. This is what they say. An ugly campaign is underway, not merely to misrepresent health care legislation, but to disrupt public meetings and prevent members of Congress and constituents from conducting a civil dialogue. And then she goes on to say these disruptions are occurring because opponents are afraid not just of differing views, but of the facts themselves. Drowning out opposing views is simply un-American. Your response, sir?
Well, I think I, like most Americans, would find that kind of characterization of citizens exercising their First Amendment rights to be offensive. There's nothing more American than letting your elected representatives know how you feel about important issues facing the nation. And let me also say, Megan, that the thing that's most offensive to me is the ongoing suggestion by Democratic leadership and this administration that there's some sort of a campaign underway to generate turnout at these town hall meetings. I expect there are some organizations that are encouraging people on both sides of the aisle. But the truth is that even though the media, the national press, continues to seemingly just focus on Democrat town hall meetings, as I told you all last week, we've had hundreds of people turn out at our town hall meetings here in the Hoosier State. And, the Republicans and special interests aren't turning out people to come to my town hall meetings. These are Hoosiers. These are average Americans that are concerned about this long litany of borrowing and spending and bailouts and government takeover of one industry after another, and this government takeover of health care is just the last straw for many Americans.
You know, moments ago, Congressman, we were joined by Mike Sola, who was seen at a town hall for Congressman Dingell in Michigan, and he spoke on behalf of his son, who's an adult who has cerebral palsy, concerned about how the health care reform bill might affect care for those with that type of a disease, cerebral palsy, and got in his congressman's face a bit and then got some pushback. Here's a soundbite from that guest, and I want to get you to respond.
I challenge Barack Obama, the members of Congress of both parties. If you believe so much in this plan, then you use it on your family before you put it on our families. What you are doing is sentencing our families to death. We lose the right to life. The old people are discarded. Those who cannot fend for themselves are discarded. There is no liberty under your plan, and that's the problem. The people have seen it. The people know it. You can't hide it from the American people anymore.
Well, Mike Sola was escorted from that Congressman Dingell town hall event, escorted out by the police for being disruptive. Does he make any good points there, Congressman?
Well, I love, number one, I love his passion as a parent, but let me also say that it's accurate that the Democrats managed to re-vote and defeat an amendment that would have banned public funding for abortion in their government insurance plan just before Congress adjourned for recess. And so this legislation is poised to create a government option that would use taxpayer dollars to pay for abortion. And we all know that, as soon as the government introduces an insurance option, tens of millions of Americans will lose their insurance as their employers cancel it and send them to the free plan. And with a government that's running a $2 trillion deficit this year, Megyn, we know that will lead to rationing, that will lead to bureaucracy and put us on a pathway towards socialized medicine.
What do you think? What do you think the House Speaker?
What
do you think the House Speaker and the House Majority Leader are doing? Why are they coming out with an editorial calling these folks un-American then for voicing their concerns, even if they're doing it loudly, even if they're doing it in a way that the House Speaker finds rude? We didn't hear this type of objection from her when the MoveOn.org people got in people's faces, when the Code Pink people got in people's faces. But why would they be taking the attack to these regular Americans, many of whom are not organized, some of whom are one way or the other? Why would they be doing this?
Look, the American people are rejecting a government takeover of health care, and I think the Democrats, from the White House to the Congress, are desperate. And so they're trying to change the subject. Frankly, this kind of attitude about Americans exercising their First Amendment rights, I think, is going to have the opposite effect. And again, I think that suggesting that that it's un-American to express your opinion to your elected official, there's nothing more American than that, Megyn.
Yeah, and some of them are fired up. Mike Sola, that guest who we just heard, he did get in Congressman Dingell's face. I mean, he was loud, but he has his son who has lived his entire life with cerebral palsy, and that father is very concerned about what's going to happen to his son's health care. So, I mean, in watching some of these folks, we do have to be somewhat forgiving of what they've gone through and how worried they are about their health care and their family's health care.
The American people, there's nothing more precious to all of us than our families, than their health care, their well-being, and the fact that this administration and this Congress continues to push through what will amount to a government takeover of health care, despite the strong objection of a growing number of Americans, is regrettable. But I do believe that at the end of the day, it's going to become very obvious, even to many Democrats in Congress, that this is not some campaign, it's not some un-American effort. The American people want us to lower the cost of health care. They want us to lower the cost of health insurance, but they don't want us to throw out the fundamental foundation of our private health insurance system to do it. They don't want a government takeover. And
understood. My
hope and prayer is that message will get through, and when we come back in September, we'll find a bipartisan way to go forward without a government takeover.
Congressman Mike Pence, thank you so much. Good luck at your town hall. We'll be